Welcome back to RPG Maker, and this time it's gonna be a game analysis. And this is a game that is not mine. It was requested for me that I would do some testing and, well, basically go through everything. And, well, one thing I can say about the game is that the intro music feels overwhelmingly loud, or at least to me it is. I'm not sure how it is recorded, but let's actually go with start game. One thing that I don't like about doing game analysis for RPG Maker games is that their screen is very small, the resolution is very small, and I can't increase it. So I'm gonna play the game and watch it in OBS as well, because it makes it much bigger. Let's see, Alt Enter for full screen. Oh, it also has full screen. Alright. Skip intro. I mean, it's the first time. Choose first chapter. Wait a bit. And press any escape. I'm stuck in the choice. So by the... my gosh, the background sound is so loud. Alright, so... as of what I see, there are Japanese names. Not sure about Rena, if it is a Japanese one. I'm gonna start with the first one. Gosh, my ears. Not sure what to do though, but sounds are overwhelming. It's still loud and I'm 10% of the sound. Right. Mamoru Akasaka. It's Mamoru, really? That means to defend. Do I actually have a cursor? Use martial arts to boost stats and immobilize the enemy. You are a young police investigator of the National Security Forces of Japan. You are a skilled martial artist, and your case involves, you infiltrating organizations. Stance ability can only use one stance at a time to boost your abilities. Oh, well, that's expectable. I'm used to this from Guild 1. Controls directional buttons, enter or space to enter a place or selection, shift for dash where possible, alt enter for full screen and minimizing screen. Wait, alt enter. Ah, okay. So it's a special move for that. Wait. I think I could keep it like this. At least it's a bit bigger. Since my setup, I'm usually 2 or 3 meters away from the television, so some small writings can be harder for me to read. Partner, Akasaka, he is heading your way, stop him. Wait, that's the sound for being engaged. Oh, Sagi merged. Okay, that's actually being engaged. As long as I keep a defensive stance, I can neutralize his attacks somewhat. Alright, so I'm guessing I'm gonna get... okay. Current party. Okay, so it's a 4-slot party, which is typical of most RPGs. Stand by. These are the stats. Formation, enter space, switch, shift, standby. Actually, change something. Ah, standby means you remove them from the party. Okay. So, and I'm gonna fight, because guard means that you defend and you take 50% damage. Do you have anything in the inventory? No. At least I like that for some reason the background is red. I mean, I know you can change that. You change the background from the beginning of the game. It's technically the first thing you can introduce. I mean, if you choose. Alright, so I'm gonna go for attack, no arts. Passive stance, key strike. What are these 3-1? Ah, it's okay, it's called the S. Normally that in RPG Maker MV it's called TP or Tech Points, something like that. Say defensive stance. But all these arts are defensive or... Ah, okay. There was a kanji, but I didn't get to see... what kanji that was. Oh, at least the messages are somewhat... Wait, can I actually change the colors of the messages? When you write things in there, I'm not sure if you can actually change the color. Because I know the box can write whatever message you want. I mean the box where it says recovered from stun, you can write anything else that you want. I go for a basic attack. Wait. Wasn't I supposed to also see the stats of the enemy? Be nice. Is that the yen symbol? I think it's the symbol for yen. They could have used the kanji instead. I mean, I can still remember it even if I haven't rehearsed any Japanese, I think, in 2 or 3 years. Oh wait, I think I forgot to read that. At least it's good it's not NSFW. Okay. Wait a bit. Okay, there was a motorcyclist outside that was doing some strange noises. Alright, Chief Inspector, because of that, we, the National Security Forces, concluded that the Minister of Construction, Inukai's grandchild, was abducted around 48 hours ago. The father is also in the same department. Chief Inspector, right now, the Minister does not want the police involved and wants to give in to their demands as quickly and quietly as possible. Ah, okay, so there's negotiation apparently. Chief Inspector, nonetheless, we have been monitoring the Minister's home phone and we noticed strange calls coming from outside of the city. These phone calls, not phones calls, allowed us to confirm that the crime did indeed occur. This case will be top secret and will be known to only the ones in this room. Top secret, I would say classified instead of top secret. Sounds a bit more classy if you use that word. I mean, classified. Please do the investigation that you've been assigned to accordingly. I wouldn't say please do the investigation, I would say conduct your investigations. Or I would say conduct your investigation objectives, because investigation can mean a lot of things. And I'm sure everyone was assigned some objectives. They weren't assigned an investigation. So I would say concur to your investigation. No, concur doesn't sound good. Well, please see to your investigation objectives, or handle your investigation objectives, alright, accordingly. But you don't need, if you say handle the investigation objectively, it's kind of pleonastic to say accordingly, because when you say handle your objective, you already have an expectation that they will succeed, or at least they will do their best. Alright, I don't mind giving tips though. We still don't know their true intentions, but there's a high, there's 2 spaces in between high and probability that some organization is behind it. Organization, I'm not sure. You may want malintent from malicious intent. There's a high probability. I would say possibility. Probability isn't good in here. You want possibility. If you say probability, it's percentage based. There's a high possibility, usually that's how it's used, that some organization is behind it. You could say that some organization, well, there is ill intent. Well, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. You can't say ill intent because it's already a kidnap, so they're not kidnapping the child to give him hugs and such. So there's already ill intent. Still don't know their true intentions. Intentions, comma, but. Okay. Intentions, comma, but there's a high possibility that some organization is behind it. You could say that there is an organization behind it. Or, I don't know, probably organization. I sense that organization is not the best word to be used. I'm not sure. The mafia maybe or something. I do like that the pictures actually change. It gives it a bit more realism. Okay, sorry, you've just come back. Sorry, you've just come back. But please take a look at this non-governmental organization. Ah, so it's an NGO, okay. So back there you could say there's some NGO behind it. Because this is basically, as of what I see till now, a suspect. Sorry you've just come back, but you would want to say comma, please, comma. Okay, because it's not please take a look, or wait, it's not necessarily that. It's not necessarily much of a request, it's more like an order, so yeah, it's written correctly. Just come back. You could say comma and then but please take I've eaten some chips. So you don't need the but in here. Sorry, comma, you've just come back. You could say from where, like from your vacation or from your previous, or you could say you're barely back. Or if you want to sound formal, you would say, you don't need to say sorry. You can say, I know you've just returned from your previous assignment, if it's a mission that it was, or from your days off, right, or holidays. Or you could use a Japanese term if you want, because you can induce the player even more into the environment if you use local terms. Okay. So please take a look. Yeah, you can say please take a look at this non-governmental organization. Okay. I think it's written with capital letters. No. When it's the short form, it's capital letters. Onigafuchi Defense Alliance Organization. It's a civilian group that's been protesting the Hinamizawa Dam recently. Wait, civilian group? It doesn't sound too well when you say civilian group. You could say non-military group, or you called it an organization, or group of people you can say, but you don't need to say group of people because, well, we're talking about humans anyways. So it's a civilian. If he's talking a bit ironical, you could use bunch instead of group. You know, bunch of people. Like they're a civilian group that's been protesting the Hinamizawa Dam recently. Wait, Hinamizawa? That means the Hinami River. If Hinami doesn't mean already something. And dam, well, it's a dam, alright. Extortion, violence, arson. Lots of charges, but very few convictions. Aren't there? Aren't there? Aren't there doesn't sound well here. So lots of charges, but very few convictions, and you could use suspension marks, and that's it. That organization is from Hinamizawa, and they are very united. Very united sounds fourth grade-ish. You could say they stand together, or they have a strong unity, or they have a strong bond. I mean, you could use stronger words. Anything that happens will have no witnesses. Again, that sounds too fourth grade-ish. Anything they do typically leaves no witnesses. Okay? You could say typically because, you know, you also emphasize you put an accent on the fact that everything they do, right? Anything they do typically, right, which is specific to them, will leave no witnesses, or typically leaves no witnesses. I would go for the present tense instead of the future, because when you say present tense, it acts as if the action is now in the present and you're inducing the reader a bit more into the game. Even the ones we catch on a scene won't testify against anyone. On a scene, no. That sounds too Romanian, or sounds too much of a word-for-word translation. In Romanian you have scena faptei, which is the scene of the murder, but no. You could say even the ones we catch red-handed, okay? Because when you say caught red-handed, they're caught on the spot, okay? You can say caught on the spot, or who are caught red-handed, meaning who are caught specifically while doing the misdeeds, okay? And even the ones we catch on the spot or red-handed won't testify against anyone. Won't testify against anyone. You could say won't spill any beans. To spill the beans, it's a similar expression. It's more informal, but you know, it's a bit catchy to the Western community. Okay, to spill the beans means to speak things about others that shouldn't be spoken, especially when you're caught, right? And you give in to, say, torture, and you say all sorts of things, okay? So that you are tortured no longer, or something like that. What's the meaning of this, sir? It means everything in the village is tightly concealed. To protect the culprit, everyone in the village will prepare what they will say. Again, the way these things are said it sounds as if a child did it. So after you use suspension marks, do leave a space in between the suspension marks and the first words. That's usually how I do it. It means not everything in the village. Wait. Tightly concealed. Tightly is not good. Use strictly if you want. Everything in the village. No, not everything, because everything is too general. Every action they take, because this group, right? Not everything in the village, because that means the trees, the rocks, right? Every bit and every part of the village, including, to a certain extent, animals and people, okay? Because everything can also include people, okay? You say everyone when you speak specifically to someone. So it means anything they do, okay? And you can write in between parentheses this NGO, right? Okay, everything they do is strict, okay? Or is strictly monitored, you can say, not concealed. Because when you say strict monitoring, obviously they first of all check whatever happens. And why do you check that? So that no one else finds out, right? Because you need protection to make sure no one else enters the domain and sees what you're doing, right? And to protect the culprit, everyone in the village will prepare what they will say. To protect the culprit against what? If you say to protect the culprit in case of a lawsuit, you could say yes, everyone in the village will prepare. You don't need to say will prepare what they will say. You can say they will prepare their speech, and you can also use beforehand. It's written in a single word. Or you could use will prepare in advance. To protect, you could say to protect the culprit in case if it is specifically one, or if it is a general case, you could use to protect any culprit, okay, in case anyone is caught. Or you could say, the lancier way, in case anyone is caught, right, to protect their culprit, right, to protect any culprit, or wait, in case anyone is caught, everyone in the village will prepare their speech, or will know what to say, okay, will know what to say beforehand, right, or in advance, in order to protect that culprit. Okay, so in case someone is caught, everyone in the village will know beforehand what to say, then comma, in order to protect that culprit. Okay, they can even make false evidence, not make, you can say forge, because forge is the perfect verb in here. They can even either make, but make is, no, make doesn't go well. You can even say forge, which means to create false evidence, specifically false evidence. If you say they can even forge evidence, because forge false evidence, you know, it's already pleonastic, but you can use forge false evidence, because not every, you know, people who aren't native English speakers, they may not know that to forge means to counterfeit. Or you could use counterfeit evidence. Counterfeit is also a synonym of false. So they can even they'll even go to the extent of bringing false evidence or forging false evidence, so it becomes a perfect crime. Alright, or to prove it a perfect crime. Even when we sued them, we lost because of a lack of evidence. We're pursuing them now only because it regards the minister. Wait, it kinda sounds stupid that we sued them but we had a lack of evidence. So if you say this, they are gonna make a fool out of themselves, okay? You could say it here. We sued them back in the past, but we lost due to their counterfeit evidence, right? Not a lack of evidence, but counterfeit evidence maybe, right? Or what's that word? I know it in Romanian, but for some reason it's not coming in English. Something like that. Don't say we lost because of a lack of evidence, because you're making a fool out of them. It means that they just sued them, but they had no backing up. We're pursuing them now only because it regards the minister. Again, this is not correct, because you're reading things about them, so you are already pursuing them, right? You can say instead, we're pursuing this case, right? This specific case of the kidnap, right? We're pursuing this case now only because it regards the minister. Again, you use regards, which is a bit of a more formal, it's a very formal word with some way of saying things which is a bit too informal. So language typically is important, and I really don't mind it when I can actually give people a lot of advice on that. You've got to be kidding, you've got to be kidding me. Usually that's how the expression is. That organization, lots of them have quite the power, so the authorities don't wanna mess with them much. That Hinamizawa, that means their defenses are flawless. Awkward exprimation, or whatever it's called in English. So in that organization, you're repeating the word a bit too much. You can say within their group, right? You can use synonyms because we're already knowledgeable of the fact it's an organization. So in that group, lots of them, you can't say have quite a power. You could say lots of them are quite influential. This is the best wording. Okay, you don't need to say the authorities. So authorities, or you can say simply like that. So in that group, so within their group, many, not lots, because lots tends a bit too much towards a majority, and probably they don't know exactly how many, so you could say many because it's generalized. So within their group, many are quite influential. You don't need to say many of them, because you say in that organization, obviously it's them, okay? It's a bit of a repetition. Authorities don't want to mess with them, right? Or they don't want to mess with them much. I don't know why you would say that Hinamizawa. It feels a bit redundant here. That means their defenses, no, that you could simply delete this one. Defenses are only military defenses or psychological / emotional defenses. You could say they are somewhat legally untouchable, if you want. This would be how I would put it, okay? But defenses doesn't go well here, okay? And it's defense with an S, I think. Let's say you've been ambushed in Hinamizawa. Whatever the result is, not turns out to be, whatever the result would be, that's the best way of saying it, whatever the result would be, they all say nothing happened. The double commas are before the punctuation mark in this case. They're only outside the punctuation mark when it is a quote that someone is saying. Whatever the result would be, or whatever the result, you don't need to write anything else, they will all claim, not say claim, because claim sounds more formal, nothing happened. You can't say nothing happened, because the moment a lawsuit is issued, there is supposed to be something, okay? They will all say, I don't know anything, I haven't seen anything, I wasn't a witness, okay? You could say that, okay? Whatever the result, comma, they'll all say, like they will all say, okay, because you're also certain they act that way. They'll all say, I don't know, or we don't know anything, or I don't know anything, okay? And if you say this, you're automatically denying the previous fact that we're, you know, that's where you said we're taking this right now, right? It sounds as if it's the first time they're gonna investigate them, right? It's a bit, you know, you're kind of confusing here. But if you keep up to whatever I said, it's a bit better. Haha, don't be so tense. I put a little show in that last one, and I don't think this abduction has anything to do with them. It's my cop sense. It's fine if it turns out to be nothing. Alright, the second H wouldn't have to be capital. Don't be that tense, or don't be so tense. Wait, to put a show, no, that's exactly like in Romanian. I came up with a bit of a show. Wait, is it really like to put a show? I made a show of it. I made a little show out of the last one. And I don't think this kidnap, not abduction, abduction is usually by aliens, and I don't think this abduction has anything to do with them. You're again becoming informal here. You could say I doubt, because it takes less space. I doubt this kidnapping, because you're talking about an act, okay? I doubt this kidnapping, or kidnap, okay, would have anything to do with them, okay? Or if you want, has anything to do with them, yes. Or I doubt they have anything to do with this kidnap. It's another way of putting it. Cop sense, it doesn't sound too good. Either my experience tells me, or my intuition, or you could say it's just my intuition, right? You could say it's just a thought, or just my thought, if you want to emphasize it that it's the character thought, right? Don't say it's fine. You could say instead, I'm fine, okay? Or it's alright, it's okay with me if it turns out to be wrong, not nothing. If it turns out wrong, or to be wrong, okay? Yes, comma, sir. We need to eliminate all possibilities. Not eliminate, it sounds too much like killing. We need to reduce the amount of possibilities, or we need to weed out, W-E-E-D, from a new, weeds. So we need to weed out the possibilities, or all possibilities. Go straight there and get as much, gather as much information as you can from local police. From the local police, in this case. Got it. And there is a nice background with the train. You could use here some sounds, because the game would sound a bit better. Like when they're looking at the papers, you could use some paper sounds, right? Like they're going through files and the such. Um, you could use some voices like or or if you have any of those. And the one with the train, you could actually use a very soft sound like 5 or 10% volume, right? With the train. And if you can arrange it in such a way that it fades out, so it starts with like regular, as you put it, 15-20% volume, and it fades out on its own, right, before it ends, so that it gives the reader the sensation that the train left and it's also going away from them, right? It's not just leaving, it's not just a basic sound, okay? It's a bit sad that the train is alone. Ooh, this is a mini movie. The train is kind of empty though, but sorry, but there is an outside chance that I may not make it back in time for your delivery. Wait, delivery? Hey, delivery is written without the middle E. Wait, delivery? Are you talking about childbirth? If she's in hospital? I would say before our child is born, or before her birth or his birth, which I would go for, or before our child is born. I would say his or her birth, because at the same time you're telling the player that the dad knows what the gender of the child is. You're adding a bit of a detail to the story. It's an extra touch. Or if it's, but delivery, I don't know. I wouldn't use it in a. I wouldn't use the word delivery in a story. It sounds a bit strange. Outside chance, there is no such thing as that. Okay, it's just a chance, and that's it. There is no such thing as outside or inside chances. Okay, I'm sorry, coma. Or you could say, if you know things, you can actually delay the text in the text boxes. If you hold a cursor over the text box, there should be a pop-up that shows you what chat commands you can use. And you can say, I'm sorry, coma, and have the chat, the text display be delayed for at least 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds, and then continue with the rest, right? You could use a sigh sound like something like that to add an extra layer. These are all the details that I'm looking for. In case these details are missing, it's, the game makes me disconnected. How I function as a game designer and developer, but first of all designer, because design is more important. I want the player to be stuck to my game, so I need to add as many details. If I allow the player to become ignorant, right? If I keep the player as disconnected as possible, they will start imagining all sorts of things, right? I want them to imagine things or see things how I put them. I want the game to be like a movie, okay? Not like a book. Because if it is like a book, you can imagine things already. So when they imagine things already, they're in their mind, so they're not gonna pay as much attention to your game, right? You want them to pay attention to your game. You don't want them to play the game brainlessly, okay? Good, let's see. Please. Okay, so it's a child delivery. Okay, but I would say childbirth. Please don't worry, coma, I'll be fine. Your baby and I will be here when you get back. When you return, or when you're back. It would sound a bit nicer when you're back. Alright. And yeah, it sounds good. This is typical formal English. Every time you say I and something else, you always say that something else or someone else first and then you. So your baby and I will be here when you get back. So, Sawi. Okay, so that's a flash... not a flashbang, that's a preparatory state. Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. Instead of you could use Onigafuchi Defense Alliance and then punctuation marks, and you could use a 1.25 seconds delay in between each of the points, as if the character is still thinking. Normally, coma, a rookie officer like me would not get picked for out-of-district investigations, but the higher-ups have decided to give me a crack on it. to give me a crack on it. I'm not sure if this is the way to say it. I don't have any idea on how to change it, but okay, so it's normally, comma, a rookie officer like me would not get picked for, and here is out dash of dash district, okay? You treat this as almost a single word. It's like a structure, okay? Out of district investigations. Yeah, you could also use forensics, but leave it investigations. It's the typical word. Higher ups, you write it with a dash. Higher dash ups. But the higher ups have decided to give me a crack at it, or to give me a chance for it. You can leave this as is. Partly due to a major staff shortage, yes, comma, but also because no one thinks this little protest group from the countryside would be, you forgot the verb here, would be possibly involved in this. Or is, because you already have present, but would be is a bit in the past because you're also making, well, or is or would be possibly involved in this. Okay. Hey, Gakko. No, that's something else. I don't recognize any of those kanji. Oh wait, I think. No, the first one is not Takai. Okinomiya police station. Ah, okay, it's police station. Hundaya. Sorry to keep you waiting. I appreciate you making the long trip out here. It sounds too informal. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Sorry if I kept you waiting. I appreciate your coming here. Okay, that's it. You don't need anything more or less. I appreciate your coming here. That's it. Because if they came there, they already took a trip, and well, if they know where the guy came from, obviously they also know it's been a long trip. So when you say I appreciate your coming here, you kind of integrate those things as well. I'm sorry for just showing up like this. I'm sure it's with a comma. It is, because it's not it's the adjective. It is a busy time for you. No. I know you're busy. That's what you want. Okay. I'm here on behalf of the Metropolitan Police. My name is Akasaka. Alright. When you present yourself, you may also say I am Akasaka and then comma and a title. Rookie police person or police in training, right? But this is optional because most likely your titles have been presented, because when you go to a different police department, most likely there is someone, you know, announcing them of your arrival, probably giving them some details about who you are. Wait, Metropolitan Police, but you should also specify what police, because it's not a country-based police. You could say the name of the province, maybe, if he's from another province, or of the police of the city where they come from, because most likely a province in Japan has more cities or towns. You could delete the just. I'm sorry for showing up like this. My name is Hundaya and Hundaya. I am with the public welfare. Oh my gosh, this sounds so Romanian. Or you could say I deal with public welfare, or I am part of the public welfare office, or I represent the public welfare office, and I think welfare is with double L. This section head of the prefectural riot squad Sankai threatened me, so I have to cooperate and help you as much as possible. Section heads. Oh my gosh. The head of the You could say the head, and just that, not section. The head of the, or the leader of the prefectural riot squad, Sankai, threatened me. If it's just a threat, yes. If it's a more serious thing, it's blackmail. If they have charges or things against him, you could also use blackmail, but it depends whether they have something that can be used against Hundaya. So I have to cooperate and help you as much as possible. I could go well this part. Riot squad, the local police really have their riot squad involved in this. Wait, riot squad? What do you mean the riot squad of the police? You mean the specialized task forces? You know, like, you know, there's the police, which handles usually the public affairs, and then, or not public affairs as is, you know, things regarding traffic, you know, public safety and the such. And then there's also the special forces, you know, those who also usually take military training, and they usually come in more serious situations like kidnappings and the such. I wouldn't say riot, you may say task forces or special task forces. I'd say this is more suitable. Here we rank the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance in the same boat as a gang. We treat, not rank necessarily, we treat the alliance, okay, the same thing as a mafia gang, if you want to call it, or a mafia organization. It is ridiculous, or it is sad to say that such good-natured, or yes, good-natured residents partake, if you want, not are doing it. This is confusing because when you say we, it's too much of a general aspect. We, you say here, comma, we rank, okay, but here where? Within this police department or within this new city, right? So here we rank. No, you don't need a comma after here necessarily. Here we rank the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. No, not we rank. We treat that group, okay, Onigafuchi Defense Alliance, the same way as a, or we compare it, okay, we compare that organization with a crime gang, if you want, or a mafia gang, if you want. I would delete the second sentence. I don't understand exactly what it means. You could keep it, it's not a problem. But typically I see you two spaces after a full point. I'm not sure if it's intended. But we think those involved in, not with, those involved in the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. Wait. Because the verb involved is always involved in. There is no other particle that is used. Those involved in the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance are members of a larger and more extreme group of activists. Oh my gosh, it's like I'm reading Romanian translated word for word in English. Not we think, we presume maybe. Okay, it's not just a thought. I'm guessing you're a police officer, you're not just having thoughts, you're having a presumption. Or we tend to think, or we tend to support the idea, right? We tend towards, or we consider those involved in. No. Those involved with the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance are members of a larger and more extreme group of activists. This is a bit confusing here because those involved, I think you can say involved with. No, it's always involved in. I think I've heard involved with as well, I'm not sure, but the way I learned it is involved in and always that. So, those within the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. Okay, but we think the people within the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance would be members or are members of an even larger and more dangerous group of extremists. You may say activists. Activist is too generalized in English because activist means that you're doing something, okay? But it's not necessarily good in this case. So, but we tend to think the people within the Onigafuchi Defense Alliances are or could be members, I would say could be members of an even larger and more, let's say, dangerous group of extremists. So if anyone thinks they are acting just for the good of for the sake of the community, not good, for the sake of the community, they are fooling themselves. Not acting. You could say, so if anyone would think they are these people, I would say these people, okay, or these members, okay. So if anyone thinks these members are just do-gooders, right, gooders, okay, you can say, for the sake of the community, they are just fooling themselves, okay, you could put just here, okay, they are just fooling themselves. Alright, well. Oishi. Okay, I was wondering what you two could be talking about. Here, you could use suspension marks here. What the two of you could be would say. I was wondering what the two of you would be talking about. That's how you would put it. That's the correct way to put it. Oh, hey, Kuraudo, you are just in time. To be on time, I think. Just in the nick of the time, just in nick. To be on time or in time. I think it's in time, to be in time. Wait, let me actually look and see, because I'm not sure about that. I think it's to be on time. To be on time. Yes, to be on time. It's to be on time. In time means throughout time. Okay? In time, your wounds will heal. Okay? So it's on time. You are just on time. He's come all the way from Tokyo, Akasaka from the Tokyo police force. You don't say police force, that's military force or task force, you say police department. I don't know if Tokyo police department is called a department or police force, but I doubt they're called a force. You are just on time. He's come, you could say he's Akasaka, because first of all you'd like to introduce someone and then say who they are, and then they would say their title and where they come from. So you could say you are just on time. He's Akasaka, full stop. He came all the way from Tokyo, or no, he came all the way from Tokyo Police Department. Okay. No, or you could say he is Akasaka, full stop. Okay. Akasaka, Tokyo Police Department. Or from he's Akasaka. He came here on behalf of the Tokyo Police Department, and then you also include the fact that he came all the way from Tokyo. Okay. He's Akasaka. He's come all the way from Tokyo. It would be sad to delete this part because it induces a certain sense of respect towards the newcomer, right? Or you could say he's Akasaka, full stop. He has come all the way from Tokyo, full stop. He came on behalf of Tokyo Police Department. You don't say the Tokyo Police Department, right? He came on behalf of Tokyo. You could say the. No. He came on behalf of Tokyo Police Department. Let me introduce you to Detective. You forgot the dash above the O. Oishi from Criminal Investigations. Forensic Detective. No, Criminal Investigation. Crime Investigation, I think. It's Crime Investigation, not Criminal. Because when you say criminal, it involves the criminals. When you say crime investigation, it involves the acts, the crimes. Okay, the acts of the criminals. Okay, from Crime Investigations. Okay, if you want to ask anything about the Hinamizawa Dam project, he knows the most. He has the most detail on it. Okay, about it. He knows the most about it, or he has the most details or the most knowledge on it. Or if you use knowledge, you can also say about it, but about sounds a bit too informal. Now you have always the line above. Anyways, how about I show you the village? Not how about. Interested in some village sightseeing first. I would say it like this. How about I show you the village? Is a bit too abrupt. It shows a bit of respect because, you know, it's an offer, but if you say interested in me showing you the village, or interested in a little, you could say LIL and apostrophe, or, you know, whatever that is. How about, no, interested in a little walk through the village, right? Sightseeing would be a bit too informal, I'd say. Or it could be informal but also formal, because they're talking in between them as if they're friends, right? They're making friends one with the other, so you're using such words as well. I'm not sure if Japanese people would act like this, but it's a game, so I would say that would be great, okay? Or I would appreciate it to keep the formality. If you say yeah, that's way too informal. That's child way of speaking, right? Or yeah, you know, YEAH, maybe. Yeah, comma, that would be great. Or you could say I would appreciate, and that's it. Not it, not anything. I would appreciate, or I would appreciate it, if you want. Or that would be appreciated. No, I would appreciate it. Or gladly appreciate it, but I'm having my doubts on that. Detective Oishi gave me a tour and told me all about Hinamizawa. Well, not all about, told me plenty about, or told me many things. Okay, not all, there's never all the things that you can learn about something, okay? Told me, you could say, if the character is impressed, you could say told me so much about Hinamizawa. Not gave me a tour. To give a ride can be misinterpreted. Took me around. You keep it like that. Gave me a tour and told me so much about Hinamizawa. He spoke, you said already told before, so I'm not sure if you want to repeat the verb. He told me about the three great families and how amongst them it is the Sonozaki family that has absolute power. Okay, so here it sounds bad. Okay, so Detective Oishi gave me a tour and told me so much about Hinamizawa. He presented me the three, or he spoke about the three great families of Hinamizawa and how, out of the three, it is, or it's, the Sonozaki family who have the most power, not absolute power. Because you say great family, when you say great, it means they have some power. If you say one has absolute power, the other two are basically irrelevant. Okay, so it's kind of contradicting here. So he spoke about the three, or he presented me, no, he spoke about the three great families of Hinamizawa and how, out of the three, again, it is Sonozaki or the Sonozaki family who have the most power, okay? Or you could also say the more power, right? Because we're not sure if they have absolute power or they have most of the power, or just they have just more power than the others, okay? If you use who have the more power, it sounds a bit more confusing, right? You don't know exactly, you don't tell the player exactly how much, okay? Don't use power, you could say influence, okay? They have the more influence, or they are the more influential, okay? The head of that family, you could say the chief of the family, right? That family, Oryo Sonozaki, again as is, she essentially runs Hinamizawa and all the protests against the dam. Typically females, I'm not sure if they run deals in Japan. I'm not sure if it was a law or something, but I know that typically they don't. I'm not sure how things have changed. This is something I heard a long time ago. If this actually changed, well, I'm okay with that. Let me see. Alright. Okay, so apparently there was no writing in chat. Good. Because apparently when I... no, leave it Alt-Enter, because someone pops up in chat, I'm not gonna be able to read their message. And I'm good at getting tunnel vision, and honestly I wouldn't want to ignore people. Okay, so the head of that family, Oryo Sonozaki, is essentially... You could elaborate a bit more in here. He told me about Sonozaki family as well. Full stop. The chief of that family, alright, or the leader of that family, you can keep the head of the family in this case, because we already speak of that family, you don't need to use that. Okay, the head of that family, the head of that family's name is Oryo Sonozaki, full stop, as another sentence. And then you could say she essentially runs Hinamizawa, as well as the protests against the dam, or oriented towards? No. Protest against the dam. But a dam, you don't need to say about against the dam, because there is a question. Is the dam going to be built? Is the dam under construction? Has the dam been constructed? Okay? This is a very big question, because you don't run a protest against a dam. If the dam is not constructed and will be constructed, you could say she's running protest against the project regarding the dam, right? Because the dam itself is not built, it is a project. If it is under construction, she's running a protest against the dam's construction, right? This depicts that the dam is already under construction, and at the same time, all protests against the dam, when you say it like this, the dam has already been built, more or less. Alright, let's see. Oishi also told me that each year the protests keep escalating. Okay, so every year the protests keep escalating, so most likely. But the dam can still be a project. It's been announced, but for years the construction starting, you know, the construction was delayed, so each of the 3 states is still available, even if they say each year. But you don't need to say year, you could say yearly the protests escalate, and that's it. You don't need to say keep escalating. Or you could say, in a different, more catchy way, Oishi, well, actually not Oishi, Oishi also told me, not told me, used told too much, added, okay, because to add means to tell more, okay. Oishi added that protests are escalating yearly, okay. When you use are escalating, okay, it's a continuous form. When you use a continuous form, it shows frustration. So again, it's a little layer of detail. So he came all the way from Tokyo to check out our little damn protest. To check out, no, to investigate, not check out. To check out means to see on something, but it hasn't specific tendency or specific meaning of investigating. Okay, check out. You can also check something else when you go sightseeing or something like that. So he came all the way from Tokyo to investigate this, not our, this, no, to investigate the protests regarding the dam, if you want to say, or the dam's project, okay? Huh? Yeah, that's right. Well, I guess that their direct appeal to Cabinet Minister Inukai finally got the group some attention, didn't it? Direct appeal, I'm not sure if this is correct, I think it is. Cabinet, I'm not sure if it's cabinet here. I'm not all knowledgeable in English though. I just don't mind giving people details or, you know, ways of improving their writing. So, the Public Welfare Office has marked this place as one of the hotspots for groups that need to be watched. One of the hotspots, not hotspot in a single word, that means hotspot for the mobile phone. You want to say hot space spot, okay, one of the hotspots for people, not groups, okay, for people who need to be kept under surveillance, okay, or people who need to be surveilled, I would say, or for people who need to be kept an eye on. There are other ways, I would say, of speaking this. Sounds like you got the whole thing figured out already. You could say sounds to me, sounds to me. Sounds to me as if you got the whole thing figured out already. You're lying, right? Huh? Ooh, sudden change. This song could be lower in volume. I mean, dude, I'm 10% in volume and it's loud for me. You don't expect me to believe that it just took an appeal to the cabinet minister to get you down here. That it took only one appeal, or a single appeal to the cabinet minister to get you down here. Let me guess, kid, keeping secrets is not going to be one of your strong points. That is good. I much prefer people that can be straightforward with. I don't mind people who I can be straightforward with. And then you go to listen, son. Don't say son. Listen, you might be surprised to find out that I can be a lot more useful to you if you just tell me what the truth is. I can prove a lot more useful to you if you tell me, or if you don't need just, if you tell me what the truth is. No, if you tell me why you're here, or if you tell me what the truth is. Sounds a bit too forced in here. Sounds a bit sus, if you ask me. Sounds a bit suspect. And how will you become more useful for me? How could you help me? And that's it. You don't ask a superior, how can you become more useful for me? You don't do that. We don't do that here. I might introduce you to an informant who knows about that group or that party, and can also give other details. Are you talking about a spy? Maybe. You could use suspense marks after that, maybe. Why is it you have an interest in my investigation? Why is it you have, yes, it's good, or why is it you're so interested? No, you have an interest. Why is my investigation of such an interest to you, maybe? Well, it's a situation where you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. We could scratch the other's back, or we could help one another. Or it's a situation where we could help one another. Okay, black screen. So you can't save the game. Okay, so it's more like a visual novel. Alright. Yes. Save. Alright, I think I'm gonna... Let me think. Should I keep up with or should I not? I mean... Not bored, I'm not tired, but I'll have to go to work in 1 hour, so I'd rather take some time off before that. So I would say kindly, okay, you can't do anything in the game. You can only quit it. Alright, so I'm gonna say enough for now, because I need to go to work soon. I'd like to take some time off before that happens. So all this being said, hopefully my advice was good enough. Take care, and well, I'm looking forward to continuing with the game. Have fun, keep up with the good work, enjoy life,